What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Gate Guardian deck profile. So I'm really excited to speak guys, because Gate Guardian is one of my favorite boss monsters of all time, and I absolutely love this build because I've included all sorts of spicy tech cards in this deck for you guys. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing a single copy of Sanga of the Thunder, a single copy of Kazajin, and one copy of Suijin. I feel like you need a single copy each of these cards in the deck, but you don't really need any more than that because there's so many ways to be able to recover these cards in the deck with a bunch of different spells and traps in this build that can basically just banish themselves to be able to get them back, or even your field spell can get them back, be able to go in for your fusion plays. But you've got to play these cards at one each in the deck so you can go in for all of your amazing fusion plays, because you don't even have to use polymerization to go in for those fusion plays. You basically just contact fuse these cards into those awesome fusion monsters. We then play 3 copies of Labyrinth Heavy Tank. This card is the best normal summon in the deck because it has a really cool ability. You can normal summon this card without tributing, and it cannot attack the turn it's normal summon, but during your main phase, you can place one of your Gate Guardian pieces that's banished in your hand or deck face up in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. Then, if you control a Labyrinth Wall card, you can destroy a monster your opponent controls, which is a great ability. We then play 3 copies of Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth. This card is an amazing 3-of in the build because this card instantly gets you to your copy of Labyrinth Wall Shadow by discarding this card to the graveyard, which is just such a powerful effect to get us to our field spell so we can get a Gate Guardian piece. This card is a definite 3-of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Magician Souls. Magician Souls is insane in this build because you can actually send your Gate Guardian pieces that are treated as continuous spells to the graveyard to be able to draw cards, basically using Magician Souls as a draw engine for the deck. This card is a really cool ability. You can send up to 2 spells and traps from your hand or field to the graveyard to draw that many cards. And if this card is in your hand, you can send a level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to the grave to be able to special summon out this card, letting you send your spellcasters to the grave like Kazajin to be able to get a Gate Guardian piece in play so that you can basically summon out your fusions. We then play for the Horus engine. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Imseti. Imseti is a really cool 3-of in the deck that helps you get to your copy of King's Sarcophagus. And all of your Horus monsters actually share a common effect. And if you control King's Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your grave. And this card has the ability that you can actually send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, including this card, to add King's Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand, then draw a card, which is a really cool ability to get your King's Sarcophagus while also getting this card in the grave and drawing a card to replace a card you sent to the grave, which can maybe help you get a copy of a Gate Guardian piece depending on what you sent to the grave, which is such a cool ability about this card. It increases the consistency of this deck a lot, while also giving you a 3,000 attack point boss monster you can constantly be summoning back from the grave. We then play a single copy of Blessing of Horus. This card is really good as a 1-of extender in the deck because if you control King's Sarcophagus, you can special summon it back from the grave, which is a great ability. We then play a single copy of Happy. Happy is also a great 1-of in the deck just to extend your plays. We then play 3 copies of Kashtira Fenrir. Fenrir is just insane in just about any deck, and this card is really good in this build, because if you control no monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and it also has the ability you can search another copy of a Fenrir from your deck to your hand, since it's the only Kashtira we're playing in this build, and it also spot removes cards off the field, which is insane. This card is one of the most broken cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, and is a definite 3-of in the build. We then play 2 copies of Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos is in the deck as a 2-of because it basically searches out our copy of Magician Souls, which is why we're playing this card as a 2-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's a definite 3-of in the deck to basically just stop your opponent from touching the deck. This card is amazing in the build and is a really needed hand trap in the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is really important in this deck as a 1-up to help you get to your copy of Labyrinth Wall Shadow. We then play a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is an amazing card to help you get the exact monster you need in the graveyard, like a Gate Guardian piece into the grave, so that you can basically go in for your fusion plays. We then play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave just stops your opponent from hand trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play a single copy of Ryoku Guardian. This card is insane. I absolutely love this card as a 1-up in the deck because it helps out so much, because if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can actually target a monster you control with Gate Guardian in its original name, half your opponent's life points, then that monster gains attack equal to your opponent's life points, making it so it basically boosts up your copy of Gate Guardian combined to 7,750, while also putting your opponent's life points at 4,000 if they're at a perfect 8,000, making it super easy to OTK your opponent. This card is amazing in the deck, and it's just a really good card because it also shares a really cool ability with a lot of your other Gate Guardian spells and traps, that you can banish this card from your graveyard to add one of your Gate Guardian pieces that's in your deck or banished to your hand, which is a really cool ability. We then play 3 copies of Double Attack, Wind and Thunder. This card is a definite 3-up in the build, because if you control a Gate Guardian monster, you can target one card on the field and destroy it, which is a great card to be able to interrupt your opponent, because you can actually set this card to your field and activate it during your opponent's turn, because it is a quick play spell, and it also has a similar effect to your copy of Ryoku Guardian, that you can banish this card from the graveyard to be able to grab back one of your Gate Guardian pieces that's banished or in your deck to your hand, helping you recycle your pieces. We then play 3 copies of Labyrinth Wall Shadow. Labyrinth Wall Shadow is insane because, first off, this card is not once per turn, which is just absolutely insane, but it also has a really cool ability that monsters cannot attack the turn they are summoned except monsters whose original level is 5 or higher, meaning it basically makes it so that XZ monsters and Link monsters cannot attack the turn they're summoned, which is insane. It also has the ability once per turn. During your main phase, you can place one of your Gate Guardian pieces that's in your hand, deck, or face up in your spell and trap card zone, and even that's banished face up on your side of the field, which is just really, really good. It also has the ability to, at the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can target one monster opponent controls with less than 1600 attack and destroy it, basically being a throwback to the Labyrinth duel with Yugioh and the Paradox brothers, where the Labyrinth wall actually attacked, which is insane. I absolutely love that, and it's a really cool throwback to that episode. We then play 3 copies of King Sarcophagus. King Sarcophagus is needed for the Horus engine, and this card is amazing because Horus monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effect that do not target them, making it so cards like Regeki, Dark Hole, anything like that cannot destroy those monsters. You can also send a card from your hand to the graveyard to send a Horus monster from your deck to the graveyard, and you can activate that effect up to 4 times per turn, which is insane. Also, once per turn at the start of the damage step, if your Horus monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send that opponent's monster to the graveyard. I've never heard a card in the game that says 4 times per turn you can use that effect. If there is one, comment it down below. And also, comment down below what your favorite Duelist Kingdom duel was. Mine actually was the Paradox Brothers versus Yugi and Joey, because it's the first time I believe we saw Black Skull Dragon, which is an insane friendship boss monster. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is just really good at stopping your opponent's monster effects, and it's just a really good card to set to your side of the field to lock down an entire column of spells and traps. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with 3 copies of Gate Guardian combined. And yes, you can summon 3 copies of this card in a duel, which is insane. This card must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards from your field and or graveyard, or even your hand, making this card super easy to summon, and you don't even have to use polymerization, but you do have to put all 3 Gate Guardian pieces into this card. And when your opponent activates a card effect that targets a card that you control, quick effect, you can negate the effect, and if you do, destroy that card. And you can use the effect of this card up to thrice per turn, which is insane. Also, this card has the ability, if this face-up special summon card and its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can actually special summon a level 11 or lower Gate Guardian monster from your deck or extract, ignoring its summoning conditions, basically summoning out a different Gate Guardian boss monster. We then play 2 copies of Gate Guardian of Wind and Water. Wind and Water is an amazing 2-of in the build, and this card is really good, but it does just require Kaijin and Sujin to be able to make this card, and it must be special summoned from your extract by banishing the above cards that you control, which all of the Gate Guardian fusions that are 2-piece fusions actually require you to control the monsters. This card is the only one that basically lets you fusion from hand, field, or graveyard, where all of these required from the field. But this card is a double or twice per turn spell or trap negate, which is insane that it just can basically stop 2 spells or traps. That is absolutely broken. We then play a single copy of Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind. This card is really cool because it actually lets you search a Gate Guardian card from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool ability because you can actually search out cards like your copy Ryoku Guardian or double attack Wind and Thunder. We then play a single copy of Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder. This card is not a card you're going to be summoning all that often, but it helps you a lot in the deck in certain situations because it actually can let you basically drop an opponent's monster's attack points down to 0 until the end of the turn, making it so that you can OTK your opponent extremely easily. I absolutely love that effect about this card, and it's a really awesome card in the deck. We then play a single copy of the Zombie Vampire. The Zombie Vampire is very easy to make in this deck and helps you mill cards to the graveyard, because when this card is XZ summoned, both players send the top 4 cards of their deck to the graveyard, then we can special summon a monster among those cards that were sent to the graveyard, making it so you can send cards like Double Attack Wind and Thunder, Ryoku Guardian, any of those cards that help you put Gate Guardian pieces on your side of the field to the graveyard, or even extra Horus cards into the graveyard, and this card is very easy to summon to your side of the field, while also getting you an additional card on the field. We then play a single copy of Number 90 because this card is a negate, which is why we're playing this card as a 1-of in the deck. If you're going first, you're usually making this card with the Horus package to be able to give yourself a negate on the field outside of your Gate Guardian pieces. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code just really big and very easy to make in this build. We play a single copy of Appaloosa because Appaloosa has multiple monster negates and again, very easy to summon, especially with the Horus cards in this deck. We play a single copy of Selene. We play a lot of spellcasters in the deck, so this card can easily recover a monster from your graveyard to your side of the field, so you can step into a copy of Access Code. We then play a single copy of SP Little Knight. You can play Nightmare Unicorn over this card for a more budget option, but this card is really good in the deck because it's basically a double interruption. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena to be able to make SP Little Knight during the opponent's turn. We then finally play a single copy of Cross Sheet because we do fusion summon a lot in the deck, and if a monster that's a fusion monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can actually special summon a level 4 or lower monster from the graveyard, meaning you can bring back something like an Ash Blossom or even a Magician's Souls from the graveyard to help you link climb into other cards like Selene, which is just really, really good. If you bring back a Magician's Souls, you can step into Selene, which they can help you step into Access Code so that you can OTK your opponent. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Gate Guardian before, you should definitely give this deck a try. It's one of my favorite decks to play, and I absolutely love all the retrains that they gave this deck. It's super fun, especially being able to play the old Gate Guardian pieces. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.